Good morning. It's Thursday, y'all, the 23rd of October, 2025. I hope you've had a good week. I hope you're able to be in church last night. Remember, a good Bible believing, preaching, teaching church. And as always, if you need help finding one, you can go to my website, brokenroadjourney.com. There is a link in the resources area that you can find a good church in your area. And if you still can't find one, reach out to me. If there's not one in your area, I will do my best to help find one that you could maybe watch online, even though I don't like that. That's like a worst case scenario that there's nothing in your area that's Bible believing, preaching, teaching remotely. So just please, if you need help with that. Also, with these videos, please watch them to the end. A lot of good information is being shared right now. So watch them to the end, like the channel, or subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share it if you feel that it helps you and you would like to help others. So we're going to be talking again about some deeper stuff about the God of this world. Yesterday, if you're watching this for the first time, and yesterday we started Satan's 5 falls, the 5 falls that Satan has had, matching the 5 because of the 5 I wills that he said in Isaiah 14, and the 5 things that God said was going to happen to him in Ezekiel 28. So here's the thing. We're out of 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 3 and 4. That's how we've gotten in on this, gotten off trail on this rabbit trail about the God of this world. But we need to understand how powerful Satan really is. He is a very powerful being. And if you've not watched any of this little series, I encourage you to go back. I have a playlist created on this YouTube channel called The God of This World. I'm doing these on daily devotion, but I created a separate playlist so you can go back and watch these videos because there's good information that's being shared from the Word of God. All right, so speaking of where we're at, 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verses 3 and 4. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. So what has Satan been doing? He's been blinding the lost so they don't see the gospel. He's blinding them through religions, mostly. And one religion in particular that people don't understand as a religion, but it's atheism. Atheism is a religion. Evolutionism, that is a religion. It's something you devote a lot of time to your belief, so that becomes a religion. And Satan will blind people to atheism and to believe in atheism. But not only that, Satan is going into churches and blinded churches so the true gospel doesn't get preached. The gospel of the grace of God in this age. Also, the gospel of the kingdom will return during the tribulation. The gospel of the kingdom of heaven, it's going to return. Why? Because at the end of the tribulation, Christ comes back, sets up his millennial reign, which is the kingdom of heaven. So churches today have been blinded by Satan. So the gospel's not preached, so that they fall for fake gospels and deceive their congregations. And then their congregations don't grow, and then people don't get saved anymore. Now, Isaiah chapter 14, pardon me, allergies are really out of control right now. It is harvest season still, and now they're harvesting corn. And I drove to church last night through a whole bunch of cornfield areas where they're harvesting. So wake up this morning, I'm allergic to dust. So pray for me. Pray that I get through this devotional. All right. So Isaiah 14. Look at verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my thrones above the stars of God. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. So God said, you're going to fall. Also remember that this is history of Satan's fall, but it's also prophecy of the Antichrist fall. So it's a dual application passage. Now, we are looking at the 5 falls of Satan. So yesterday, and his ultimate destruction, Satan was the anointed cherub that covereth. Ezekiel chapter 28 talks about him. There's 5 cherubs mentioned in the Bible. Satan was the 5th. And we go back on one of my other videos. You have to watch this series and find where I talked about the 5 cherubs total. But we also looked at how beautiful Lucifer was before he became Satan. And that pride got to him, and then he fell. So what happened? Because of his pride and he wanted to take over heaven, Satan was degraded from the anointed cherub to of the 3rd heaven. That he was in the 3rd heaven at one point, but then he was degraded to the Leviathan of the 2nd heaven. The Leviathan, by definition, you can go over to Job, you can go back and watch the video yesterday. Leviathan is the old crooked serpent. The old serpent, the devil. Leviathan, the serpent, is who came down as Satan, the serpent. Leviathan came down to Adam and Eve. So he was degraded to the 2nd heaven during the creation. Then he was degraded from the 2nd heaven to the prince of the power of the air of the 1st heaven. Remember, there's 3 heavens. The 3rd heaven is where God's throne is and where our ultimate home is. The 2nd heaven is outer space. And then the 1st heaven is our atmosphere. So now Satan has been degraded again to being the prince of the power of the air. So he controls everything in the air here. Now, ultimately, God is in control, and Satan can do nothing without God's approval. If you don't understand that or believe that, go to Job chapter 1 and 2, where God gives Job permission, or gives Satan permission to attack Job, to test Job's faith. Satan can do nothing unless God allows it and allows him to do things. That's a hard pill to swallow for a lot of Christians and a lot of preachers. But Satan's power ultimately is only allowed because of God. So God is ultimately the one that's allowing Satan to deceive, because he could at any time knock Satan out. And if you don't believe that, you better read The Temptation of Christ, because it talks about God in there and what God can do. God can stop everything. But there's reasons. We're not going to go into that today. So now he gets kicked down to the 1st heaven during the crucifixion, the ministry and crucifixion of the Lord Jesus Christ. And that's where we looked yesterday. He is the God of this world, the prince of the power of the air now. Now, 2 more falls are going to happen. We covered 3. There's 2 more. They're both future. The first 3 have happened. And currently, he is the prince of the power of the air. But there's 2 more future falls prophesied. Let's look at those. Now, Michael, in the future here, will kick Satan down to earth during the tribulation. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. During the tribulation, he's now kicked out of the 1st heaven and down to the earth. 1 Peter chapter 5. No, 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. But part of these events have actually happened that we're going to talk about. The next one, 1 Peter chapter 5. I have a Bible there. 1 Peter chapter 5. Keep your finger there in Isaiah 14, though. We'll go back to it. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, that's what Satan means, adversary, and he is our adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. He's going to and fro in the earth and up and down in it. That's what he's doing currently as the prince of the power of the air. And in the tribulation, he's going to be cast down to the earth. And he's going to give power to somebody. But let's look at Revelation chapter 12. Revelation 12. And we're going to be looking at verses 7 through 17. Revelation 12, 7 through 17. And there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. That's his name also. And the dragon fought and his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. So this is during the tribulation. He is now going to be kicked down to the earth. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, Leviathan, serpent, and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Pretty wild. So there's about to be a Star Wars happen. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Now, rightly dividing and doctrinally sound, this is Satan accusing the Jews during the tribulation, doctrinally speaking. So he's up there accusing the Jews. But also, I will say that he's been doing that from when Israel became a nation again, all the way into the tribulation. There's reasons I believe that. Why? Because that's why Judah is now a burdensome stone. Israel is a burdensome stone to the world. Satan's ultimate goal is to wipe out the Jews because he knows those were God's chosen people. They are still God's chosen people. But Satan is wanting to extinguish them. During World War II, he extinguished several million of them. Why? Because he was trying to wipe out God's race. And he's been doing it through man. And in the Great Tribulation, he's going to continue to do it through his son, the son of perdition, which we'll look at. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto death. It's talking about those that get martyred during the Great Tribulation. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Warning, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. Powerful. So he's going to come down and really pour out wrath during the Great Tribulation. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. That's the Jews. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness. This is Sela Petra. They're now going into Sela Petra, the Jews, during the tribulation, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time, 3.5 years, from the face of the serpent. And the serpent was cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman, that he might cause her, the woman is Israel, to be carried away of the flood. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went in to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is talking about the Jews during the Great Tribulation, during the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, we're going to stop right there. Part 2 of this one, this is part 2, but part 2 of part 2, we'll talk about tomorrow when it comes to the Antichrist. All right, that's all I got for you. Questions, comments, concerns, go to my website, brokenroadjourney.com. And again, as always, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on notifications, share these to help others, because regular churches out there don't teach any of this that you're hearing today. Only Bible believing, preaching, teaching churches will do this. All right. God bless y'all. Lord willing, we'll talk again tomorrow.